Howdy, darling. So, it's been a hot biscuit since we have last connected last. Naturally, honey, if you're used to my videos, when I used to post, I never really sat down with a set plan. I always had an idea of what I wanted to talk about. I had a concept of a plan. I just wanted to sit down and connect because some of you guys, you're not really too surprised by this video coming up because some of y'all have been finding me through, other social medias, honey, the one that's about to be getting banned late last year, especially. And I've been hinting and telling folks, it's like, yeah, I'm probably going to be making a comeback in the new year. And then, honey, now it's just like a fitting time since Miss TikTok, she's getting the boot. It seems as if, maybe it's not going to happen, but I want to talk a little bit about why I kind of just like took a giant step back away from social media, or at least from YouTube, posting on YouTube, because I don't want any of y'all to ever feel as if I forgot about you. I don't take it for granted at all. Like, YouTube was what has been like the foundation of like what I have been able to do with my life. It was part of YouTube that kind of helped saved my life in a way, because whenever I was in my toxic situation with the cult, and I figured things out, I was like, wait a minute, becoming aware of my environment and what was going down. I knew I had to do something, and so YouTube became that platform for me that started everything, that helped me stabilize myself so I could get out of my crazy situation. And it's just always been the gift that's kept on giving for all these years, even when I haven't been as consistent. So when I had left Washington back in like late 2021, like during the fall time there, honey, I think, I went back home to Texas for a little bit for a hot biscuit, maybe like 7, 8 months or so. Back home, spent some time with family, then went over to Florida, similar thing, and I spent a year and a half, a little over a year in Florida. And then last year, in January or February, I moved back up here in Washington. Now, there's like a lot that had happened between leaving Washington in late 2021 to coming back in 2020, beginning of 2024, right? So I'll give y'all like the cliff notes, right? I don't want to be coming on here just trauma dumping on y'all, honey. Um, but I knew when I had first left the cold and was trying to just like heal and just figure things out mentally, and everything that just comes that you might just imagine, and then some, really, when it comes to like getting out of the type of situation that I was in. And a lot came up, and it was like during that time where I really made such a priority in being still like showing up, still like choosing to like post videos to not only like prove to myself that that the situation, my abuses didn't break me. That was really like a big thing for me, where it's just like, nah, like I'm still gonna show up every single day when I choose to, because you didn't, you might have really hurt my soul a little bit, but you didn't break me. And there's also a little bit of also just showing to them as well. It was I realized like what I was doing at that point with YouTube and uploading on here. It wasn't even about like necessarily like the content anymore. And I started falling out of love with it. And I don't know. I didn't know. I knew what I was going through internally. I couldn't properly go through that while also showing up every single day and doing these long form videos where I had to, during those times, I'm like trying my hardest to not be biased, and what's going on internally. It's like during the 20 minutes, 30-minute videos that I would post, it was like during those times I would have to try to just like suppress it all, and it worked, but it made it really hard for me to like ever heal and process things through that. And so it was like during that time I was like really blessed with a lot of opportunities, after I had left the cult, shortly after, where I no longer really needed YouTube anymore to survive like I originally did. And I know a lot of people always say, it's like, oh, you should just start, stuff out of passion, not for the money. And obviously there's a big level of passion when I first started uploading onto here, right? I wasn't posting reading videos when I first got on here. I was talking about like astral projection and spirit guides, and I still did that while I did tarot readings. But it was through that traumatic situation that I was going through, I learned how to make lemonades out of the lemons that I was given. In the height of when the pandemic was going down, honey, So it was like I couldn't just simply like go out and get a job at that time either. So I don't know, when I certain opportunities came forward for me where I didn't really need to show up online anymore, I took that as like an opportunity to, rather than lean into like some type of capitalistic, allow that capitalistic bug bite and take hold of me and just like try to like retain as much wealth and chase, chase clout as much as possible, fame. I wanted to just take a step back, even though I knew taking a step back would ultimately like slow things down. And I knew I needed to do this for myself. I felt as if the opportunities that came forward to me, at the time, I feel as if it was really there to help me do that. And so I kind of just listened to my intuition in that regard. And I still showed up on TikTok. So I know some of y'all found me through there. But yeah, it's been a long time. And now that I'm back up here in my place up here in Washington, and it's been just under a year, it's about to be February now. And that's when I first moved up here by myself, by the way. I'm so proud of myself, honey. Again, there's so much we can talk about, honey. And I want to be able to talk about it with you. I don't want to rush it, when it feels right. I just wanted to be able to make this video to not really set some type of expectation. I'm not going to say I'm going to show up as much as I did originally beforehand, or maybe I will. I wanted y'all to understand at least a little bit of what was going on from my perspective. While during this period of time, there's a lot of healing, a lot was going on, just like with everyone's life, right? And I just wanted to allow myself to have that space that I never really had before. And I knew, is like, especially after during that time period, not only was I healing, I was going through like such a heartbreak of not only just like of relationships in my life and all of that, but the heartbreak of having to leave Washington. And I know it sounds silly, but anyone that knew me or knows me watching this, y'all know how much I love nature, honey. And I fell in love with the nature up here in Washington. Now I'm in such a better place. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend as if like I'm fully healed, and that's not how the journey is, right? You have your highs and you have your lows. Being able to just like be in this nature and be to myself and really just enjoy peace and solitude. And also, I don't want to get into too much detail because it doesn't really matter, right? Especially if you've seen my old videos, honey. I think this is kind of like a long time coming, right? But I had finally been able last year to like just fully go no contact with my family, and it was like just fully. So much positive has come from it, especially during the holiday season, honey. During this Thanksgiving and New Year, this is the first time I truly just was completely alone. And it might sound weird, honey, but and maybe some of y'all can understand if you've been similar, also has separated from people. But it's probably been like my best holiday season because I didn't have to like deal with the drama, deal with the stress, deal with like the disappointment, and realizing that these people that I'm supposed to consider my family don't know me or don't even care. I just been just really just like relishing in the peace. Even like when I first moved up here, that was like I really just spent months just being to myself, not talking to anybody. And I've had to like let go of a few like dear friendships from like high school just because I don't know, I really have just like shedded like so many layers of myself, and I don't identify with the person I was many times over on this channel. But especially now, I was really going through like a huge personal transformation that I knew I needed to experience on my own before I vocalize it. And I still don't even have the words for it, I don't think, for everything, or fully processed all my emotions. But yeah, my darling, I just wanted to show up and talk a little bit about what's been going on, let you know I haven't forgot about you. As this year goes on and I start learning how to come out of my shell again, I'm sure I'm going to be able to start sharing a little bit more and just talk about things and be able to just connect more. Yeah, my darling, I don't know how many videos I'm going to be doing this, how often, how soon. And I don't really want to set some type of expectation or make some type of schedule out of this. Like, I really want to have it to go back to feeling as if this is just like a personal passion project again, because I have the opportunity to be able to just treat it like that. So I don't want to make this feel like work again. But I do promise throughout this last year in my 20s, because I'm turning into my 30s, honey. It's crazy to think about when I like. So there's so many like I have videos celebrating like my 25th and stuff of that nature. Um, I promise you, like throughout this year, I'm gonna be learning to open up again and express things. Probably a little bit more, not how it used to be, honey, when I was like high stress levels, couldn't talk about like being in a cult, but at the same time wanting to talk about, keeping it all locked in. Definitely gonna be a little bit more reserved, honey, in that regard. But I am really excited about bringing you guys back into my life now that I actually feel safe and I have a life that I feel comfortable showing, and that's something I never have been able to do. It's just there's always been a lot going on behind the scenes I never could like vocalize. And now that I'm just so grateful. I don't mean to have this sound any type of way or anything. I hope it doesn't come off that way, but I really am just like grateful. It's even like sitting down recording this video, I am constantly like reflecting on like previous videos and like the mindset that I was in, and like literally like wiping away tears just to turn on the video, turn on the camera again to record, and as if like no one even knew anything. People were just wanting to know when their next zodiac sign reading was, which I don't blame them. I'm very grateful for that. I'm really excited to start coming out of my shell, my darlings, and I appreciate your patience with me if you're still around. And also hello new folks. I know there's a lot of new folks that are going to be coming in from other platforms, but yeah, I hope you've been doing well, my darling, and let's continue catching up soon. All right.